I think the most core responsibility of this alignment and this partnership lies with us as an HR. And I would not be wrong if I would say that I am responsible so that managers can trust me. And why they don't trust me and why they don't consider me as their partner is because I don't know my job. And I don't do research. I'm not updated with recent trends and the practices which are going on in the HR. So I think if I give you real-time examples that I started my career with bigger workforce companies wherever I've worked. But there was one organization which I worked for 3 years, and that was a startup. It was Datix AI. And he was a young CEO, and he had an interview for about 1 hour with me, and his vision was that, the challenge which he was facing there, the VP engineering and the CTOs who were working in the organization already are not aligned, are not, taking the HR practices or the people side, seriously. So he told me that, Kanwal, I want to bring you on a leadership layer because I think that that's the first step any organization should do, to have top leadership HR people first, and then bridge the team under that supervision. So I worked there for 3 years, and I've worked with a lot of collaboration and one-to-one meetings with the top management as well. Being a woman in the tech industry, talking to the men and telling them this is not correct and this is not the right process to go about, and that is how we have to go about, and we have to go for manpower planning and budgeting, and every department would have a budget to be allocated for the resource management and resource allocation. So that whole concept were new to them because that was a startup they never talked about before. And when I had a lot, continuous meetings with them, and I worked with them on that project, they understood that that's what is missing element there. So I think for me, these all stereotypes which talk about, some are coming out very loud in my mind at the moment. HR is only company's voice or the top leadership voice. HR, it's very easy to come in HR. What skill you require? Nothing. Like I'm a developer. I studied codes. I write codes. What HR do? They just sit down, they pass, and they just sign the letters, and they just give it to the employees. So what skills they require? Trust me, this is the most difficult job we are doing at the moment in the companies. Why? Because every human is different. And there is no one mantra, and there is no one secret to deal, or there is no one code which can be applicable to every workforce or every person who is working in the organization. So for me, I think partnership and this alliance start with me and from my side. And if I don't consider me that I'm part of those people who are working for the equal benefit and equal cause for the organization as that alignment and that partnership would not be there. Another thing which I think is more important for us is that gain a lot of knowledge and skill, because it is, as Wali Saab said, that a time of artificial intelligence and data and literacy and and matrices and all that. So we need to understand that if we need to lesser the gap in between us as HR managers and with the operation managers or department managers, we need to understand their language. We need to talk in their language. We need to sit with them and really understand what problems and challenges they face every day on the floors. I think for me, the development part of the leadership in all the organizations, wherever we work, wherever industry we go, leadership development, जिसमें आपके managers भी आते हैं, that is a missing element. And जिस तरह हम अपने बाकी resources की development पे invest करते हैं, I think we need to invest in our peoples who are working in the leadership layer, in their development as well, to understand the concept of being HR in the organization. And it is not anymore talking talking about just hiring and firing or just making a record keeping and all that. It is beyond that. And I think it is all about जैसे इन सर ने सवाल किया, इन वली साहब ने भी जवाब दिया कि self-engaged people are the people whom we look for and we look upon to them to create that impact. So it's a very non-spoken or not aware term which we use generally, and I love to talk about it, and that is psychological contract. That psychological contract starts with HR, and that goes to their managers as well. That manager would think that you only speak for the company should understand that you are there for them as well. You are there for their development as well. For example, how many of us understand if I talk about the tech industry, how much I understand code development in terms of Python, Django? How much I understand what is DevOps engineer do? How much I understand that what is the challenges a developer can face when he writes a script or he writes a code? What is debugging? What is velocity? So when we understand these terminologies in which business is operating, that's the only way we can get the confidence and that trust level towards the managers as well. एक और चीज which is very common, I wrote it down, few of the things as well, that it is a very common stereotype that HR is only care and only to talk about policies and procedures. Trust me, and get this awareness back to those people who talk like this, कि अगर ये policies और procedures ना होते organizations में, तो हर एक बंदा दूसरे के दस्तों के रिबा हुआ होता. On the fact that even the people, women were not safe to work in those companies where they work even for night hours. They are very safe. So and it is more than half of the responsibility is on our shoulders, and we are taking care of that burden element from those managers, and they can focus on their performance and productivity towards the business. Sir ने बात की कि business partner का model is new normal thing. That's absolutely correct, because if I'm working as a talent acquisition partner and my job is to bring the talent to the organization, उस talent का पूरा employee life cycle को run करवाना is a job for human resource business partners, to work continuously with those managers and to talk to them what are their challenges are, and to talk to them what are they facing at the moment, how we and as an HR can help them to develop their people for better productivity and growth. That's what our job is. And एक और बहुत important stereotype है that we have a lot of fear as an HR, because and I felt that, to be honest, and I've been through with that situation as well, because we need to run our houses as well, and it's very difficult to find a job in this inflated market and a lot of competition as well. Let's stop fearing out, to be honest, and let's showcase what all knowledge we have. If every person in the organization, and especially in HR, would take their job as an ownership and consider that it's your home, so I think that's the only way we can be able to manage this partnership. And for me, I think the most important collaboration between people in terms of the HR managers and the departmental managers are to sit with them, talk to them, have a continuous communication with them, and that's the only way you can gain their trust. And then it's not that you just work for the employees. You are there to bridge that gap between the people's concerns and of course toward the top management as well. So that's, I think, if we work on these steps, we could be able to minimize those stereotypes. And it's through our learnings, it's through our contribution and value addition, and it's through our sorry, I'm just short of words here. I think through our visionary objective and far-sightedness, which would help us to align better with our managers and of course with the top management also. So thank you very much.